Thank you for viewing this Content on Demand demonstration. Before we get into the actual demonstration, why consider Content on Demand? For many of you, this may be your first experience with us. What is it that sets Content on Demand apart from its competition? Well, we provide a better way of learning for students. As an example, for each topic that we cover, we have 3 different kinds of lessons for students. They simply choose the lesson that best suits their learning style. We're extremely easy to use, as we'll see in a minute. As part of being easy to use, we're designed inside the leading platforms, Moodle, Blackboard, Angel, WebCT, eCollege, or we can host for you. Why is this easy? Because students can access your course materials in the same way they access any other course they're taking on campus. They don't need a new password, they don't need a new procedure, or they don't need to follow a different pathway. It's all what they're accustomed to. So from day one, they can concentrate on learning the mathematics, not on learning a new system. We have a strong emphasis on writing to solve problems. While we have an abundance of computer-generated and algorithmic problems, it's important for students to practice writing, solving problems. We have a unique new promotional pricing policy for new adopters, which we will keep in effect for you. In addition, any student who purchases a course access code from us will never have to purchase that access code again. It's good permanently. We provide plenty of testing. Most of our courses have well over 200 tests and quizzes pre-built for you to use. In addition, there's a large test bank from which you can make up additional tests and quizzes. As well, it's easy to make up your own test items. We provide excellent service, but you also can rely on your instructional technology people right on campus, as well as representatives from the various platform companies. Let's get into the content. Here for this demonstration, you can see that we're built inside of Moodle. We simply scroll to the chapter we're going to study. Each chapter is led off with a pretest that you can choose to assign if you wish. You see a standard-looking Moodle test. Most of our test items are multiple choice or free response. You can edit these questions, delete them, add your own, rearrange the question and answer order, set different values, number of retries, whatever it is that you wish to do. And of course, when the student is done taking your test and submits it, it's recorded right in your Moodle gradebook. Back to the chapter we're studying and into the section that we're going to work on. I mentioned that we have 3 different kinds of lessons for each topic. We see 2 here. We'll see the 3rd in a minute. I also mentioned that we're extremely easy to use. All a student needs to do to navigate through the product is click Next. So we read the introduction and move on. And again, on how easy we are to use, the technology that's needed is embedded directly into the lesson. So we click on this animation and click play, but a student can pause it, rewind it, fast forward, whatever they need to do. And when they're ready, simply click Next to continue. We move on to page 5. Here we find an activity that you might want to use in your face-to-face classroom. Here you could broadcast this up in front of the course and ask for a volunteer to solve the problem. And when they do, you can show side 2 to see if they're right, and then take the next volunteer, and so forth. You can also see how easy this would be to use for distance learning courses or self-paced courses as well. Here we find an example of how we emphasize writing. A student should always have a scratch pad by their side when going through the lesson. Here they can simply answer the question and then click on Answer to see if they're right. Here we find a more extended example of the same principle. If a student needs a hint to get started, they've got it. And then they can check their progress at each step along the way with a hint for the subsequent step. When they reach the answer, they can click Try again for the exact same problem or try another for a problem just like it, so they get plenty of practice solving problems by hand. If a student prefers, they can click on Print the lesson, and here's another way for a student to go through the lesson. Some may prefer to read through the lesson. Or maybe a student is not going to be near their computer and they want to print out the lesson and take it with them. When a student is finished with the lesson, they simply close out of it, and they'll have a 3rd option, a video presentation of the lesson. Here, a narrator reads the first screen of the lesson and thereafter paraphrases. She uses a pencil to point at things, underline things, circle things, highlight, and solve problems in the margins.
In this lesson, we'll examine some additional rules that govern the behavior of exponents. The rules should be memorized. They will be used often in the remaining chapters. These additional rules also follow from the definition of exponents given below. X to the nth is x times x times x dot 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 times x, where there's n of these. Rule 6.
A student can pause, fast forward, again, whatever they need to do to study the lesson. More problems to solve by hand are under practice problems. Here comes up a PDF that a student can print out and work on, or just work on a scratch pad. Typically, we have 35 to 40 problems per section. Of course, we provide the answers as well. Although if you're teaching in a face-to-face course, you may choose to hide these answers, and so treat the practice problems as a homework assignment. Where appropriate, there are detailed solutions. So you can consider this as a solutions manual too. If a student needs help, they've got a video to a work solution of the problem. Again, the same narrator solves the problems.
Use the rules for exponents to simplify the following. Eliminate any negative exponents. The first rule we're going to use is Rule 3. And here it is.
Notice I clicked on closed captions. We're the only product that is completely 508 compliant, so if you have students with disabilities, we can deliver it to them in the manner that they need. Notice also that I pause it, as a student can do. They can fast forward, rewind it, whatever they need to do to learn the lesson. We also have a random set of practice problems. These are our algorithmic problems, and in theory, a student can do an unlimited amount of problems without ever seeing the same problem twice. A student simply puts their answer in the little red box, finds what they need over here, click on it, and then enter their answer again. Hopefully they'll do better than I did here. We'll check my answer and see that I need to keep trying. It'll give me 3 attempts, but perhaps I need a hint to tell me how this kind of problem should be solved. Or maybe I want to work through it in a step-by-step fashion along with the computer. Or if I go up here, I can turn this into a quiz mode and simulate taking an actual test in a classroom. Notice the help buttons on the bottom have gone away. I have a 15-item quiz now that will give me my results when I'm finished. We have plenty of quizzes that will end up once the course is downloaded for you in this section down here under quizzes. However, for our demonstration course, we've kept them in with the content of the chapter listing. So, for example, we have a section 3 quiz, and this will look just like the quiz that we saw a minute ago. We have made, again, over 200 tests and quizzes for you to choose from. So again, why consider content on demand? We went through the 3 types of lessons. We saw, hopefully, how easy we are to use. Again, we're designed inside the major platforms, and we took a look at the course inside of Moodle. You saw our emphasis on writing, and I mentioned our pricing policy, which we will keep for you. We have plenty of tests, and it's easy to make your own tests, and we will provide the best possible service that we can. Thank you for viewing this Content on Demand demonstration.